First in the news, Israel appeared to have a secret advantage if it attacks Iran's nuclear program. Then suddenly, that military advantage was taken away when the information was leaked in a magazine. So why could potential military plans be leaked to the media? As Chris Mitchell reports, it could be part of a plan to stop an Israeli strike.
Last week, the magazine Foreign Policy revealed stunning military information that Israel plans to use airfields in Azerbaijan to attack Iran's nuclear facilities.
In general, I was speaking with one very senior officer earlier this week who said this is just all very damaging. It's all damaging, right? I mean, if you think about it at the end of the day, there's no strategic surprise anymore.
Last week's revelation follows a series of speeches and messages by President Obama. He said when it comes to Iran, he would take care of Israel.
There should not be a shred of doubt by now. When the chips are down, I have Israel's back.
Yossi Klein Halevi is a contributing editor to the New Republic. He calls this recent outreach to the U.S. Jewish community and Israel a charm offensive.
When Obama says he's got our back, what he's really doing is he's got us by the throat, and he is trying to restrain us. His messages of the last weeks were aimed not at threatening Iran, but at implicitly, with a smile on his face, with a big bear hug, threatening us, threatening Israel, not to launch a strike against Iran.
Any message against attacking Iran troubles many Israelis. As one former diplomat said, for the U.S., the decision to attack Iran might be a matter of foreign policy. But for Israel, just 6 minutes away from an Iranian missile, it's a life insurance policy. And recently, a number of stories have been leaked that question if a strike would even work.
Those leaks basically say two things. One is that an Israeli strike would be ineffective or counterproductive. Or two, here are some of the actual operations that the Israeli military might undertake. Here's the route that they may do.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, told Fox News he believes the Obama administration deliberately released the information about Israel using Azerbaijan air bases.
So the Obama administration has torqued it up a notch, and now they're going to reveal very sensitive, very important information that will allow Iran to defeat an Israeli attack. I think that's what's going on.
If it turns out that Ambassador Bolton was right, then we really are in a new phase in terms of Israeli-American relations.
The next stage in this ongoing drama takes place later this month when the U.S. and other nations try to negotiate with Iran. Yet many Israelis feel the talks are just an Iranian tactic to stall for time while making a nuclear bomb. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Did you ever try to negotiate with a spitting cobra and preach reason to it? It doesn't work that way. It's going to bite you if it possibly can. But for the White House to be leaking sensitive Israeli plans is just appalling. But I wouldn't question it. If Bolton thinks that's what's happening, I think he's probably right. And that, to me, is absolutely appalling. But we've got an administration where time and time again their actions are appalling. Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. Lee?
Pat, the cost of food is likely to keep going up around the world. Food prices hit record highs last year and may do so again this year. High oil prices are one reason, along with tight supplies of grain. Bad weather, though, in some areas has also hurt the production of important crops. It's all led to rising food prices despite the weak economy worldwide. The Environmental Protection Agency could end up killing the coal industry here in the U.S. That's what the president of the United Mine Workers of America told a West Virginia radio program. Cecil Roberts said the Navy SEALs shot Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, and EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson shot us in Washington. Roberts attacked the EPA's proposed regulations to put limits on greenhouse gases from new power plants. He said they could prevent any new coal-fired power plants from being built here in the U.S. Those are strong words from him, Pat.
Well, it looks like Obama has now alienated the steel workers because of the pipeline. He's now alienated the coal miners' unions. I don't know how many others, but he holds on to his environmental core. It's just a question of how many tree huggers there are in this nation who would vote for him. But he's limiting his options. And I might add, the EPA is putting out all kinds of rules, a number of which have criminal sanctions. And on Monday, we're going to have part 2 in our shocking series called A Nation of Criminals. And we'll show you how ordinary Americans can easily break federal laws and regulations and never even realize they've done it, wind up in court, and from there to prison. Well, I think you'll find that very interesting. And you're going to hear from racing legend Bobby Unser about his brush with the federal government. You don't want to miss it. That's Monday, A Nation of Criminals on Monday 700 Club. Lee?
The Muslim Brotherhood may be on its way to taking over Egypt's government. This week, the Brotherhood announced it's sponsoring a candidate in the presidential elections. The group had pledged not to do that. It already dominates Egypt's parliament, and Islamists make up the vast majority of a special committee tasked with writing a new constitution. Representatives of the Muslim Brotherhood met with some White House officials and others in Washington this week. Pat?
The myth is going around that the Muslim Brotherhood is a group of moderates. Not true. They are extreme radicals. They founded the PLO, that was an agency of theirs. They founded Hamas, that's an agency of theirs. They are dedicated to the destruction of Israel and the establishment of an Islamic caliphate throughout the Middle East and perhaps the world. So they come and play cozy in the White House, and they are not our allies, but we are trying to make believe they are. Lee?
Pat, officials say the quick response of residents to tornado warnings saved lives this week in Texas. More than 600 homes were damaged or destroyed when a line of twisters tore through the Dallas-Fort Worth area Tuesday, but amazingly, there were no deaths. About 20 people were reported injured in the storms. Operation Blessing is in Lancaster, Texas, an area hit hard by one of those tornadoes. OB teams are coordinating with state and local officials to provide relief where it's needed the most. Pat?
Well, you can help. We're there doing disaster relief wherever it happens, and this is just one area where people suffer, and when they suffer and are hurting, we try to be there to help them. So if you want to participate, it's Operation Blessing or Disaster Relief, CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
A transgender male will compete in Canada's Miss Universe pageant. Jenna Talakova threatened the organization and its owner, Donald Trump, after being told she couldn't compete in the pageant. Miss Universe rules state that a contestant must be a naturally born female. The 23-year-old was born a male, but underwent a sex change and now has a legal passport, birth certificate, and driver's license that says female. Trump says he made the decision to change the rules after examining Canadian and American laws. Religious programs are the key to rehabilitating prisoners. That's what prison chaplains said in a nationwide survey by the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life. Prison chaplains say access to quality religion-related programs is crucial before and after the release of convicts. The head of chaplain ministries at the Oregon Department of Corrections says faith helps to cure attitudes that lead to recidivism. But prison chaplains do have concerns about religious extremism. More than 40% say extremism is common in prisons, especially among Muslim inmates. They also see it on a smaller scale among followers of pagan or earth-based religions. Well, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com